All right, today we are diving into an idea that is genuinely changing medicine as we know it. We're talking about this powerful, kind of undeniable link between our gut, our mind, and yep, even our sleep. This journey could really change how you think about your own health. So, let me start by asking you a question. For decades, right, we've looked to the brain to fix things like depression and anxiety. But what if a huge key to solving that puzzle isn't actually in our head at all, but in our gut? Is it possible that the trillions of tiny microbes living inside us hold a secret to better mental health? And make no mistake, this is a massive global issue. The World Health Organization estimates that more than 280 million people around the world are dealing with depression. Now, traditional therapies, they work for a lot of people, but there's still a huge number of patients who just don't get the relief they need. And that's exactly why scientists are now looking for answers in a pretty unexpected place, our digestive system. So, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can our gut have anything to do with our brain? Well, to get our heads around this, we need to talk about the science behind what some people call our second brain, this incredible network called the gut-brain axis. Think of this as a biological superhighway for information. The microbiota gut-brain axis is this constant two-way communication network. It's like a biological internet connecting the emotional and thinking centers of your brain directly with everything happening in your gut. And it is absolutely not a one-way street. Your gut is constantly talking to your brain, and your brain is talking right back. So how does this conversation even happen? Well, a key player here is serotonin. Now get this, our gut microbes are responsible for making over 90% of our body's serotonin. That neurotransmitter then sends signals up to the brain, mostly through this huge nerve called the vagus nerve. And the brain uses those signals to help regulate our mood, our emotions, and yes, even our sleep. It's a direct and incredibly powerful connection. Okay, so that's the theory, right? It sounds compelling, but is there any real-world proof? Let's take a look at a really fascinating case study on a pretty radical new therapy for depression that puts this whole gut-brain thing to the ultimate test. The therapy is called fecal microbiota transplantation, or FMT for short. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a procedure that's designed to completely reset a person's gut ecosystem by transferring microbes from a healthy donor into a recipient. The whole goal is to restore a healthy balance, and then see if that has an impact on other parts of their health, like depression. And this isn't just a one-off story. We're looking at a huge 2025 meta-analysis. Now, a meta-analysis is really powerful science because it pulls together the results from lots of different studies. In this case, researchers combined 12 really high-quality randomized controlled trials with almost 700 people to get a single definitive answer. Does FMT actually work for depression? And the results? They were pretty striking. The groups who received the fecal microbiota transplantation showed a really significant drop in their depressive symptoms. Meanwhile, the control groups, who just got a placebo, showed no significant change at all. The conclusion was pretty clear. FMT was having a real effect. But then the next question is, does it matter how you do it? The researchers looked at two main ways, taking oral capsules versus delivering the microbes directly into the gastrointestinal system, through something like an endoscopy. And while both methods actually worked, the direct delivery seemed to have a slightly bigger impact on reducing symptoms. It suggests that getting those new microbes exactly where they need to go might just be a bit more potent. Okay, so it works. But the million-dollar question is, for how long? The study tracked this, and the results are really telling. In the short term, up to a month, there was significant improvement. The effect was actually strongest in the midterm, between 2 and 5 months. But, and this is a big but, after 6 months, those positive effects started to fade. This suggests that the reboot might not be a permanent fix-all on its own. The study's authors wrapped it up like this, and I'm quoting here. This meta-analysis supports FMT as an effective adjunctive therapy for depressive symptoms. Sustained effects require further investigation. The key word there is adjunctive. It means it works alongside other treatments, not necessarily as a standalone cure. And, this is the reality of cutting-edge science. It's incredibly promising, but there's still more work to do to figure out how to make these benefits last. But this gut-brain axis isn't just about our mood. The connection actually goes deeper, affecting something we all desperately need, sleep. Let's explore how the health of your gut can literally make or break a good night's rest. This is where you can see this powerful and sometimes vicious feedback loop. It is a total two-way street. Not getting enough sleep is awful for your gut. It can reduce your good bacteria and crank up inflammation. But it works the other way too. An unhealthy gut can ruin your sleep by producing fewer of those sleep-promoting molecules and by sending inflammatory signals straight to your brain. You can see how you could get stuck in a really bad cycle. So what's actually going on here? Well, you can think of your gut microbiome as this amazing little chemical factory. It's constantly producing key neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, which are crucial for relaxation and sleep. It's creating these anti-inflammatory molecules, and it even helps regulate our body's internal 24-hour clock, our circadian rhythm. When that factory is running smoothly, we tend to sleep better. When it's out of whack, our sleep really suffers. When you step back and look at all this research, it really points to a brand new frontier in medicine. We're starting to move past treating symptoms in isolation and are beginning to see the body for what it is, a deeply interconnected system. And this just opens up a whole new toolkit of potential therapies. We have probiotics, the good bacteria themselves, and prebiotics, which is basically the food for those good bacteria. We're also looking at postbiotics, which are the useful compounds the bacteria make. And then at the far end of the spectrum, you have something like FMT, which is a full ecosystem transplant. It's this whole range of interventions, from the really simple to the very complex. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The research is pretty clear. We are right in the middle of a huge shift in how we understand health. We're moving away from looking at different body parts in silos and toward a more holistic view, recognizing that the health of one system, like the gut, is fundamentally tied to the health of another, like the brain. And this is what's opening the door to a future of truly personalized medicine. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about for the future. As we learn more and more about the power of this internal ecosystem of ours, will medicine start to rely less on traditional pharmacology, pills, and more on the targeted tools of microbiology? It's definitely something to